Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
I've never really been sick, but it's dawned on me by now that good health is more than just the absence of illness. It's more than just not being sick. Good health is the direct result of right thinking and right living. In other words, of strong character. A buddy told me about his old football coach, who always used to tell the boys on the team that the most important thing they could do for themselves as a team playing football and as individuals playing the game of life was to develop what he referred to as a healthy attitude. Sure, they had to do push-ups, they had to tackle a dummy and push the blocking sled, but if they didn't do it with a healthy attitude, then as far as this old coach was concerned, they were just so much dead weight pushing around just so much more dead weight. I first began to think about a little when I heard about that old coach's emphasis on having a healthy attitude. It was different from just a strong body. It had something to do with that, but it had something to do with character as well. A healthy attitude. Your attitude, the slant you put on things, the way you lean into life or back away from it, is all part of your character. And if you're in life for the long run, you're going to need strength and endurance for that, which also derives in part from your character, at least when you get past the age of 17 or 18. In order to live a long time and to be well throughout, you have to be an athlete of health, a real long-distance runner. And anybody who's ever even just watched the Olympics on television knows that character is an important part of running. So while health may never have seemed like a quality of character to you, I hope you're starting to see that it truly is one. It's hard to think clearly, to feel confident and strong and decisive and wise if you're short of breath when you stand up after a long spell of sitting down in a chair, to cite an extreme example. And to cite some examples that are less extreme, how can you hope to make the right decisions about where to go with your career, about what to buy and what to sell, about approaching that new client, or about calling on that old friend, if your pants are too tight, or if the middle button keeps popping open on the jacket of your business suit? But here's the good news. I say you don't have to believe every scare story that comes over the news and television telling you not to eat this or that statistics say has happened in X number of cases. You don't have to make yourself crazy because of what too much of something tasty or greasy or sweet does to laboratory rats. Because you don't have to become a health fanatic to understand that some things, in big amounts, really aren't good for you. It was a Greek philosopher of the classic age who said that we should all do all things in moderation and nothing in excess. That's a principle you should definitely apply to your lifestyle. It can't hurt to have an ice cream cone every now and then, a little sweet to reward you for a job well done, a little something to take the sour taste out of your mouth on a bad day. But don't go gobbling ice cream by the quart and following that up with a pack of cigarettes and a fifth of rye whiskey. There are people who do just that, but it's a one-way ticket to the wrecker's yard. So is driving yourself crazy about health, however. So remember the principle: moderation in all things, nothing to excess. Worry and stress are as bad for your heart as a high cholesterol count. You make the call. What's worse is to have a high cholesterol count and always be worrying about it and punishing yourself for it with a sheet of strict Puritan rules. It's much easier to just follow moderation in all things. That way, health really is a function of character rather than the calculator. Yes, go easy on the food and drink. Go easy on the rules, too. You have to understand who you are and how you are made. In other words, you have to understand your character, physical, mental, and emotional. Not everybody is made to run a marathon or climb mountains or play defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears. Not everybody's got the physical or mental equipment to be a truck driver or a rocket scientist or a traveling salesman. Each of these people is used to different levels of activity. They live in worlds with different customs, different ways of training and thinking, and oh yes, different ways of celebrating. A rocket scientist doesn't need to do 20 miles of road work every day. A truck driver doesn't need to sit still and read the small print under a lamp for hours at a stretch. A football player doesn't have to stay up all night driving through heavy downpours on the vast stretches of the Midwest interstate. Each taxes his body in different ways, and each needs to eat and relax in different ways, too. One person might be able to smoke cigars or a pipe or cigarettes in moderate amount, where another man would fall ill from even casual light indulgence in tobacco. One man can hold his liquor while another can't keep it down. Some people can run for hours, but they can't sit still. Whatever the particulars of your physical constitution and whatever the current condition of your character, there's one thing I can say immediately and with complete assurance. If you've let yourself get seriously out of shape, and if you're engaging in behaviors that are blatantly self-destructive, you're going to find it very difficult to respect yourself, and you're going to make it nearly impossible for others to respect you. This is just a fact of life in today's world and in today's system of values. If you want success, if you want to lead, and you wouldn't be listening to me now if you were anything less than a success-oriented individual whose ambitions are not going to be held back by the hand that fate has dealt him or the place that fortune finds him. You must embrace the received lifestyle of the times. The President of the United States goes jogging most every day because he must lead a country on the run, and because he understands that people today will not tolerate a tired-out man at the top. That's just how it is, and no one person on earth is going to change the way things are at this moment right now. Times do change, and people at the top change with them, of course, but that's with the times, not against the times, not ahead of the times, not behind them. Being in good physical shape is a big part of good health as we see it now. Good health can only raise your esteem, your standing and respect in the eyes of other people. Good health may give your character and ambition every advantage and put you in the way of the good things in life that come along. But all these things do not exhaust the benefits of good health. Despite the great and certain worldly rewards for staying healthy and fit, they are not the sole or even the main reason to seek and embrace the habits of good health. The greatest benefits to health are found in the mind and spirit and soul of the seeker. And in fact, if there were one formula, one answer to the question of what is the true path to good health, if I knew what that answer was, I would hold the key to the most vexing problem of the ages. And this program would be the basis of a religion, not a practical guide to building strong character and achieving success. Good health may really be an effect of character as much as a cause of it. In my opinion, being a person of strong character is the best prescription for a sound mind and a sound body. If you feel good about yourself, you'll naturally want to take care of your body. But if you lose respect for your body, you're more likely to become slipshod in other areas too. Old people are probably the strongest people in the world because if they weren't, they wouldn't have lived so long. What do old people who are healthy, who still get out and do things and live life, what do they talk about when they get together? They talk about who's had what operation, of course, and who they saw at the golf course, But once the chit-chat dies away, they talk about food, and they talk about their digestive systems. When it comes to digestion, there are certain foods that help the plumbing work smoothly, but those foods alone don't make for a healthy and balanced diet. You need variety in your diet in order to fulfill your body's many nutritional needs, and it's likewise very beneficial and important to have variety in your life. What's true of financial health is also true of physical well-being. If you keep doing exactly what you've been doing, you'll keep having exactly what you have. Anybody who does the same thing every day, year in and year out, with no break or vacation, is probably in no position to even know whether he or she is in good shape. You can't know what you have until you leave it, or lose it, or get something else. Probably the easiest and most healthful way to break up your day and keep the biological clock wound up so that it doesn't run down in the middle of the best days of your life, and that's today, is to catch a nap whenever the opportunity presents itself. Remember, every dream is a vacation, and it was Shakespeare himself who said that sleep knits up the raveled sleeve of care. There's much more to be said about health, but there are few hard and fast conclusions to be reached. I think health is an aspect of character, because I see evidence that ethical people are happier and more relaxed. Stress, on the other hand, which I associate with hostility and anger, is said to cause physical problems. But maybe this is just wishful thinking, that people get what they really deserve. I happen to believe they do get what they deserve, however, or perhaps they get even a little bit more.